Hello. So today I'll be talking to you about the history of masquerades in West Africa. So many of us are very aware of the culture of people dressing themselves in attires that marks their identity and then go out there into the streets or into the village fields or market squares to entertain people. So what are masquerades? Should they be celebrated? Should they be allowed to roam around and bring up different activities to entertain or to dissuade? Should we permit them? What do they symbolize? Are they harmful? Are they beneficial? Are they against us? So let's begin this video with a little history. Masquerades in West Africa began 8,000 years ago from the Fulanese who migrated from the southward part of the Sahara Desert into various parts of Nigeria. So masquerades began from Nigeria. It began from the Fulani. It was a Nigerian culture that spread around to other parts of Africa and today even to the worlds we know not. The word masquerade began is actually a French and Italian word. It has a French and Italian origin. In French, it's called mascherata, meaning mask procession. So it is a mask procession. People put on masks to process into ceremonies, into gatherings, into assemblies for reasons that they have themselves created. Then in Italian, it is called masquerade. Masquerade, meaning mask. So it is a French and Italian word. It is of a French and Italian origin. Back to Fulanese. Fulanese created masquerades. It is, in fact, it was a norm whereby they wore the masquerade as a means to communicate with the gods or as a way the gods communicate with the people. So the gods would have messages to send to the people in the form and in the attire of masquerade. So certain people were selected, the gods possesses them, they go out there and relay the messages of the gods, the deities, the idols that the people worship. So it was a means of divine communication, divinity in the sense of their satanic activity. Now, it was not intended as we see today as a means of entertainment. In fact, it was intended as a means of traditional, ancestral deity communication. So the gods spoke to the people through the instruments of masquerades. Now, the masquerade was actually a male cult. It was a male cult because only men were allowed to go into the masquerade circles. Only men were allowed to put on the masquerade gowns and clothing. Only men were allowed to go out and pass on the message that the gods have sent. And that's why today women are not allowed to put on masquerades or to be initiated into the cult of masquerades because it is in fact a traditional masculine cult against the female gender. It is a misogynistic society aimed to subjugate women and exalt men above all things unequal. So that is why we must not allow masquerades to invade our cultural settings because it is not a good culture. It does not promote justice, it does not promote morality, it does not promote anything worth celebrating. So masquerades are not your friends, they are not your allies, they are not your supporters, they are only cults that are designed to subjugate the female gender. Apart from the female gender subjugation, masquerades after the colonial era, after the Portuguese brought Christianity to Nigerians, to the West Africans, masquerades became prevalent. It moved from being a cultural means of communication by the gods of the people to becoming a cultural means of persecution. It became a persecutory procession whereby Christians were being tormented and being caned for following after the white gods. That is called Christianity. So it is not a culture that celebrates Christianity. It is a culture that is against Christianity because it began with persecution. It persecutes people who believe in the Christian God, and that's why today, if you claim you're a believer, if you claim you're a Christian, and masquerades meet you, they wouldn't take you humanely. They'll beat you up, flog you because it is intended now to be a persecution, a persecutory clown. Some masquerades, they are against women, they are against the church, and it is no longer, it has moved from its point of being a means of communication by the ancestral gods to a means of persecution and subjugation. They are not your friends, they are not your allies, they are anti clans, anti-agents against cultural promotion. So this is a little history, contemporary, with a vision of contemporary vices about the masquerade society as we see them today in Nigeria. So just know this: they began with the felonies. They are misogynistic in nature and they are anti-Christian. Thank you.